Hi everyone, this is Crystal, and today I'm sharing another spread in my 2019 Project Life album. This is actually a spread I created way back in March. It's from February, so this is the second part of February, and you may have seen just a second ago the very first part of February. It was the first spread that I created in my album. And then this is actually a continuation of that. So I actually made this spread at the same time as I made that one, but it's just taken me this long to actually get it edited and voice overed and shared with all of you. So it's an older one, but I wanted to share it just so you could get a full glimpse of my album so far. So what I'm doing right now is just cutting down some papers to use in these 3x4 pockets. So I have the February Hip Kit Club main kit. That's what I'm using for this spread, just like I did the one right before it. So I don't have a Pocket Life kit. I don't have Project Life cards. I'm just working with the papers that came in this kit, and it works out just fine. I have no problem creating some cards to use in these pockets. I shouldn't say no problem. I do struggle a little bit just because my photos felt a little bit awkward, and I was trying to get a good balance of color. So I play around quite a bit with different paper options to make it feel balanced. It was looking a little pink, a little too pink for me for a while, and so I eventually add in some white and some blue to balance it a bit more. So I am just cutting up some elements from that Pinkfish Studio paper that came in the kit that had, it was from Joyful Day, and it had 2x2 squares all over it, and I use a few of those on this spread. So I cut a little label out of one, and then I cut a little piece that said "This is us," and I added that to our coffee photo. So this spread is, like I said, from February. It's from the beginning of February. It's part of the trip we took to Nebraska to see my dad. He had surgery, and we went out to be with him for that, and through part of his recovery as well. So that is what this spread is from. So the photo of my coffee is from the little coffee shop we went to on 13th Street, right by our hotel. And then I also had some time to it was a very stressful time, obviously. So I took some time in the hotel one night to just kind of relax and journal. Actually, I think it was in the morning, not at night, but I just had my journals with me and just sat and spent some quiet time, and that was really nice, which is what that picture in the bottom left side of the spread is all about. And then, of course, the big picture is of my dad in the hospital, and he would probably kill me if he knew I had posted that picture, but we were just really proud of him. It was right after his open heart surgery, and he was already up and walking. So so you may have just seen me use a bit of the packaging to back one of my photos. I wanted a white border, but I didn't want it to be stark white, so I chose a little piece of the packaging from one of the Joyful Day embellishments that came in the kit, and it just had a really slight pattern on it, like a light gray pattern, and I really liked the way that looked behind my photo. So I used that to create a mat for my photo instead of cardstock. And I always try and use packaging whenever possible, just because it seems like such a waste to let that pretty packaging just go in the trash. So now I went through the die cuts from the Cartabella Flower Market collection. They were also in this kit, and I found a couple pieces I thought might work, but I don't actually end up using any of those. I do, however, use a few of these pieces from the chipboard set from that same collection. I added the one to the large photo that says "Gather the ones you love," and then I have a tiny little piece that says "Lovely," and I have it on my journaling photo, and it will actually stay there, although the die cut piece will not. So I'm about to go away here in a second and do some journaling, and that was the point which I decided to add some just plain white cardstock. So I just drew a 3x4 square on a scrap piece of white cardstock and typed my journaling on that using my typewriter. And then I'm just going to trim it out and then embellish it with some of the pieces that I have cut out and set aside for this spread. So I took off the die cut piece on that journaling photo, and I just cut a little strip of this blue paper. Again, like I said, trying to bring in some other colors besides pink, since it didn't seem like necessarily a pink day or pink spread, although there is some pink in my photo in my journal. So anyway, adding a bit of blue here, and then a little strip of journaling, and then I'm going to peel off some of the back of this chipboard piece just to cut down on the bulk that it will add to my album, and then just glue that down right next to my journaling. And that's pretty much it for that photo. One done. I'm playing around also with the organization of these cards, and you'll see in the final photo, even when I think I'm done and I get them all in the pockets, I actually end up switching them again. So you'll see the final photos at the very end are just slightly different than the video. So that little label was actually cut from another Pinkfresh studio paper that came in the kit, and I had done that for the previous spread and hadn't used it, so I decided to use it on this one. And then I'm adding tiny little strips of journaling. I think it just says his tea, hers coffee, or latte, hers latte, which is what we ordered at the coffee shop. And then I'm just going to glue all of that down and add just a couple lines of journaling, really just stating what coffee shop we went to and where we were when we got our morning drinks. And then I will just keep embellishing. So that sticker that's on the right hand side, it looked like I just stuck it down on the photo, but that photo is actually still in a pocket, a page protector. So it's just stuck to the outside of the page protector. And I will actually add it to the photo here in a minute. But right now I'm fussy cutting a heart from one of the crepe paper, La La Love papers that came in this kit. And I'm going to add it to the label on top of my journaling. And I thought about adding a little strip of the pink paper there, but again, it was just too much pink. So I'm going to stick with just that heart. And I think I'm ready to finally glue all of that down as well. So that will be another card all done on the spread. And then I will just have the one card left, and that's really just going to be a filler card. I just have to decide what exactly I want to do with it. So I had some of these enamel dots from Pinkfresh Studio that came in the kit. It was one of the embellishment packs that had a bunch of different types of embellishments in them. And I wanted to add some of them to the photo of my journaling. And then I thought I would also add some to my journaling for this spread, but I didn't like the way they looked. They were just, they looked out of place on that card. I was thinking it would add some more blue and tie them in together, but it just didn't work. So I took those back off, and I'm going to start working on my filler card now. So there were these frames that came in the kit, and I absolutely love them. I actually have 2 sets of these, and I have almost used them all. So you will see I actually have another spread, or a layout rather, a 12 by 12 layout that I created with these little chipboard frames that I have never shared. So I'll be sharing that on my Instagram account soon, so be sure to go check that out. I just really love them. I've never really worked with chipboard frames before, believe it or not. These were brand new to me, and I have found so many uses for them, and they're so much fun to play with. So I backed this one with one of the 2x2 squares from that same Pinkfresh Studio paper, and I was just trimming it off around the edges with my scissors, and I'm going to glue that down in the center of my filler card, and then I'm just going to add a few small embellishments to finish it off. There was this tiny little flag on the Pinkfresh Studio embellishment set, and I add that inside the frame. It had foam behind it already, so it was super easy to just stick inside that frame, and it kind of nestled in there nicely. And I think that might be it for that one. So I'm moving on to the other side now. I knew I wanted to use that chipboard piece, but it matched the floor in the hospital too well, and it didn't stand out enough. So I'm just going to add a little strip of pink paper behind it. That is one of the crepe paper papers that came in the kit, and then I'm just going to stick that chipboard piece right on top, and that's going to be it. That's all I'm going to do to this photo. So I am nearly done with this spread now. It came together pretty quickly despite my struggles with color balance. I'm just going to stick them all back in the pockets, and of course I have to trim because I never remember that these pockets are slightly smaller than 3 inches, and I always trim the papers to 3 inches instead of just slightly smaller than that. So I'm just trimming off tiny little bits so that they will slip nicely into the pockets, and then that's going to be it. So there are some close-up photos coming up so you can see what the final spread actually ended up looking like. Thank you so much for watching. I will be back here soon. I know I haven't been sharing much Project Life spreads. I have been filming them. I'm not caught up on editing. So expect to see more from me soon. Thanks again for watching. I will see you all back here very soon.